Story time with Jess the Mess. Now, many of you have watched my videos and know that I got a thing with fish. What I haven't discussed with you is the wonderful thing that my wife has made me do. So, once we got married, we had a thing called a honeymoon. Many of you guys know what a honeymoon is. And we paid for the honeymoon ahead of time. And what she wanted to do was go snorkeling or scuba diving, feed some sharks. I don't know. That's what she wanted to do. We looked up the Caribbeans, and the most affordable place was Roatan, Honduras. And that is a island that is actually across the way from Honduras. It's not scary. I mean, there were like people with like machine guns like watching us to make sure we were safe, you know, because they want people to go there. And my wife has worked really hard to get me to like water and fish, you know, so I had to go to sleep to Blue Planet, you know, with David Attenborough. Yes, David. That is her favorite person. So, with all the glorious Jess and Brandy booty donations, because it was all ocean themed, our wedding. Thank you, Deanna Dodd. And a few hiccups. Thank you, Heidi. We make it to Roatan, Honduras. The butt of the Caribbeans. It was beautiful, robust, and glorious. It was amazing. But then came the time to snorkel. Now, the way that you're supposed to get into the water when you're snorkeling with your flippers is you're supposed to go backwards. First of all, I tried to go forward. So I'm flopping and bouncing all over the place because I can't get into the water because my flippers are in the way. So my wife turns to me and says, if you go in backwards, it's a lot easier. It's filled with, there's so much activity in the water. There are schools of fish. You can see them above the water. You can see them. There's so many fish. There's a lot of fish. All right. And there's these lionfish. Lionfish? They have like little stripies, you know, they're like white and yellow. And there is a local that is very close to me. He's like 10 feet away from me. Being the sweet individual that he is. When I am scooting backwards and I'm about waist high, my wife is already in the water, grabs his fruit or whatever he had and starts throwing it in the water around me. Because he's going to show me how amazing his home is. And then it happens. All of a sudden, I am surrounded by billions of fish. Maybe not billions. There's billions of fish. There are billions of them all around me right now. And they're like jumping up at my waist. You know, they're coming out of the water. They're so excited because the local's like throwing fish, and he's like, "Oh, funny fish! Oh, you like funny fish!" And they go, "Oh, sake, they're bueno, muy bueno. Oh, the fish! Oh, you like? Oh, how funny! Oh, throw more food on the fish, and they're jumping. Oh, look at ha! You have good time." I'm setting the ambiance. I'm setting the stage for you guys. The reason that I am pacing is because I am remembering how horrible that was. My wife, my fresh, new, fantastic, amazing wife, is already in the water. All you see is a little snorkel, her little butt, and little flippers bouncing. She's already going out. And then, with all the excitement, I start vomiting. Yes! So, we've had chicken and all kinds of glorious things and some fruit drinks, and it's all over, it's surrounding me. And what that is doing is causing even more fish to come up for snacks. So, I try to reverse out of the water, you know, so I'm tripping over myself and he's yelling. I'm like, "Oh, thank you for your help," you know, kind of thing. So I get out of the water. My wife pops up and she's like, "What are you doing? Come on, let's go." So I'm like, okay. So she hasn't noticed all this action that has been happening to me. So I'm going to go ahead and get back in reverse. I got to get in the water in reverse. So I'm in the water. again, because I love this woman. We have just got, I'm not going to ruin her. I'm getting in the water. So I get into the water. And after a while, I calm down. You know, we see a whole bunch of, I don't know what they are. They look like lionfish, you know, like, ooh, bubbles, bubbles, but they're really big. And they're like purple. And then we see like a little flounder fish. And so there's so much wildlife in the water. And I calm down. Until something horrible happens. So, my wife is more fit than me. She's super skinny. She runs. So, pedaling her little feet in the water, it just came natural to her. She could just pedal forever. I would be distracted by a fish or something like shiny, you know. I'm like, oh, look at that, it's a green thing, you know, that I saw that in Blue Planet, you know, so I know exactly what that is, you know. And then I would look up and she would be gone. And it would be really dark and it would be very blue. I would find myself in the great abyss. Because all of a sudden it would turn dark blue. Dark blue. The most darkest blue ever. And that's where all the evil underwater things are, and they're going to come up and they're going to get you, and there's going to be sharks, and you're going to have like a great white, and it's going to take, you got a thing with your feet, so it's not even going to take your whole body, it's just going to take off a foot, you know, kind of thing. And she would pop up and she would save the day. So when we came out of the water, I asked her, I said, lover, how did you know to pop up when you did? And she says, well, I would be floating there all happy, you know, checking out the coral reef, and I would hear, I thought I handled it great, but my wife let me know that I handled it like a individual who doesn't like fish. So, that was my first experience in the ocean with water that was past my ankle. And I hope you enjoyed that story. Hopefully it was entertaining. Have a good night.